I was 12 and a half when I was first diagnosed. Prior to that, I was fit, healthy, and happy, and I believe psychologically stable. Cycled to school rugby, academically doing reasonably well. And since then, I suffer from severe headaches, severe muscle pain, and severe exhaustion, brought on by physical activity or mental activity as well, such as reading, using computers, and so on. It is incredibly debilitating. I have to use an electric scooter, a stair lift. I have a carer from social services comes in to assist me with personal care. So life is incredibly difficult, and I am in no doubt that it's a physical illness. I know some people have done things like CBT and so on and have improved, but I think as Dr. Shepherd pointed out earlier, ME has become something of an umbrella term for perhaps a lot of illnesses. And I think a lot of people with ME would argue that perhaps if you do CBT and get better completely, perhaps you didn't actually have ME in the first place.
CBT being cognitive behavioural therapy.
That's it, yeah.
What was the trigger for you?
It was a virus called, and don't laugh, Coxsackie B4.
Wow.
They reckon that possibly half of the town of Aberystwyth had the virus. They tested a lot of the children in my comprehensive school. A lot of them had it, and for reasons which they're still not sure about, a large percentage of people in Aberystwyth did come down with ME at that time. It was considered to be an outbreak of ME.
Do you think that there is an imbalance in the funding for research into this disease, condition, however you might describe it?
Disease, yeah, we'll go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it would appear so. I think one of the things that is confusing, for example, at the moment in the United States and the United Kingdom, people with ME are not allowed to give blood. Now, obviously, somebody with a psychiatric condition would not pose any threat to the general population by giving blood. So if people with ME are not allowed to give blood, then obviously the medical authorities are very concerned that ME does have a physical and therefore possibly contagious of some description element to it. Therefore, surely the bulk of the research should be going into finding out what the physical causes of ME are.
Just finally, we had a text earlier on from one person who said ME is just an excuse for lazy people to take a couple of years off work.
Yeah, you do get people like that. I'm afraid that ME is a serious and debilitating illness. I would love to live life to the full. I would love to be working, climbing mountains, and doing all sorts. I get very, very frustrated, and life is extremely painful and extremely difficult, and I wish it was very different. But for a lot of people with ME, that is the reality of life, and acceptance from the medical profession, which we get from a vast number of doctors, is valued. And the thing that we want is people to help, and funding to be given to try and find some way of assisting us practically.